Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Outbreak Survivor. Today we're going to go ahead and do Starcraft 2 visual novel. This is based on the esports experience, and you'll get to see that why in a minute. These guys are so great. They've done this a while. That if you play Starcraft, and you'll see at the loading bar or the launching bar of Starcraft, you'll see that they're pushing for this as well. They pushed for this version first. This is the Starcraft 2 visual novel. They're just starting out to do another Kickstarter for the second one. So I want you to join me in doing the Starcraft 2 novel together. I'm going to do the best I can to voice act a lot of the voices in here. I'm a guy, so it's kind of hard to do girl voices when you're a guy. Especially when you have to do one like this. So, you know, we've got a lot of things going on. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you do like it, hit that like button. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I do case modding and stuff like that, so please subscribe as well. In the link below, you're going to find the Kickstarter link for the guys that are making this, and I hope you guys do donate, because this is definitely a good novel. Anyway, let's get started. So I'm going to click on the new one here. I'm going to go with Guy, because I can only do so much. They're asking us what we want to be, male or female. We're going to play male. For the male's voice, I'm going to use my normal voice. Like, there's a certain feeling that every StarCraft player gets before they lose. Most try to ignore it at first, as if inevitably it's just another challenge to fight through. Like their past mistakes don't count if they just try a little bit harder. It's a natural thing. To believe otherwise contradicts the hours we spend practicing. Still, every player must eventually come to terms with that defeat. That they have to queue up for another game, or maybe that they flew across the world for nothing. Haven't met many players that can take a loss in stride. It's painful, it's permanent. It's proof that your best isn't always enough. Long after my elimination, I remain at the PC with a blank look in my eye. Click shoots from my finger as I leap from page to page. A tournament update mentions my defeat in passing, but no one acknowledges it. With my frustration fades, I'm left only with guilt. I should have practiced harder. I consider sticking around to watch the final few games, but the knot in my stomach persuades me to avoid any more stress. People are nice enough to a foreigner with their heart to attempt a Stark League qualifier. But without a win, I'm just one in more in a long line of losers. Hundreds spend their best years chasing the esports dream. 1 in 50 makes it. This is for those that don't. Every game in StarCraft begins the same. Gather resources, train a worker, construct a building, rally an enemy, defend the base, contest the map. Turn something small into something more. This game is pushing. It's stressful, it's draining, it builds you up and tears you down. It's not for everyone. It might not even be for me. How many more chances am I gonna get? Was that my last? Feeling is back. Why am I still trying? Why can't I quit? My fist rattles at the desk and sends a plastic bottle into the floor. With my chin in hand, I throw myself into the match replay. I force down a measured breath. Losing a throwaway ladder game shouldn't bother a player of my rank. Scout denial and my poor control of the final fight gave my opponent the edge. In retrospect, my mistakes seem obvious. I toyed with the conclusion that he was hacking before realizing that I'm just making excuses. No, I should have been able to win that one. Despite the Grandmaster badge next to my handle, I find myself too anxious to queue up for another game. The loss at Victory Starleague qualifier earlier today isn't helping my mindset. I comb my tiny room with a look of restlessness and unmotivated. Sitting alone in the dark room for an extended period of time is incredible. Sitting alone in a dark room for extended periods of time is incredibly depressing. A fact I learned only when it became a significant part of my life. Only one thing is certain. I've got to get out of here. After double checking that my apartment door is locked, I hustle down the stairs and onto the sidewalk. Lights grow. Wow, I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm messing this up. I must be thirsty. After double checking that my apartment's door is locked, I hustle down the stairs and onto the sidewalk. Light grows with each step towards the shining skyline. Catchy pop beats and poster flawless of models dominate street after street. Foot traffic is thick and impatient. Seoul Tower stands tall from a distant hilltop. But even the lingering excitement of a life in a faraway place can't dredge me out of my hopelessness. Sometimes, especially on days like this, I regret pursuing esports. It's a thought I had more times than I'd care to admit since coming to South Korea. Even saying that, I know that I can't keep myself from competing. It's in my nature. And truth be told, this game is the only thing I'm good at. What is StarCraft? Some respond with an explanation on its game mechanics or its storyline. There are other popular answers too. That it requires the dexterity of a pianist alongside the strategic thinking of a chess player. Maybe that's what StarCraft is to most people. But to the hundreds who carve out a living on it, StarCraft isn't such a simple thing. It's the embodiment of competition, a perfect playing field, no need for athletic genes, rabid parents, tutting tutors, or even expensive summer camps. You pick up the game on your own, you learn, you improve, you work. If you're good enough, you can become a god. And if you fail, you stay a nobody. I'm not building towards a long-term career. I'm friendless in a foreign country. I'm respected by no one. And if I don't qualify for the VSL next month, I'll be back at home, square one. I'll be nothing. But hey, at least I played a video game all day long. I added a few words, guys, but it does help. Are you completely sure you haven't forgotten anything? Do you have enough money for the cab when you land? Are you sure the apartment got your money? Is your cell phone charged? You bought an extra charger, right? Mom, I'm fine. Please, nothing bad is going to happen. Remember, there won't be anyone to do your laundry, cook your meals, or even wake you when you oversleep. Budget well and you have 2 months. I won't hear anything about a loan for the flight home. Takes an effort to keep a frown from my face. I'm certain that my parents came to see me off only so they could say they did. I'm already sunk the entirety of my savings into this. Now isn't the time for second thoughts. My dad gestures the security line and taps his watch twice. Go on. The sooner this is over with, the better. Oh, come back in one piece, hon. Nothing comes when I think of how to respond, so only nod. With another word, my parents walk away. Without another word, my parents walk away. Sorry, guys. Next time I bring some water for this. He has to make it on his own. Oh no, excuse me. He has to make his own mistakes. I tighten my fist, pace quickening. Even though I want to prove everyone who's doubted me wrong, I'm tired of losing for no one's sake but my own. With the sun long set, overhead signs wash the streets in color. I've wandered so far that a walk back to my apartment would take for almost about an hour. My renewed drive to practice my craft drives my search for a place to play. It's not long before I see the words I'm looking for. PC Bang. The amount of foot traffic suggests it's a pretty popular internet cafe. A sign on the front window reads Golden Zone Fire. Though I only visit a few times, PC Bangs are one of the things that are interested me most about Korea when I first got into Starcraft. Ducking it out for champion status of a neighborhood cafe is an old school cool. Like the type of western where a sheriff defends his turf against upstarts and outlaws. It's an idea that's a little bit dated about these days. Most StarCraft 2 competitions take place either online or in a broadcast studio. I'll admit, I've daydreamed of being born in a decade earlier and playing the original esport, Brood War, during its rise alongside the PC Bang. A better time, or so they say online. I trundled up the stairs and passed through the doorway, immediately struck by the size of this place. There has to be at least 80 computers. The crowd is too large for an ordinary evening. There are more people than there are PCs even. I indulge my curiosity on the first person I see, a dark-haired guy observing a match of StarCraft 2 from behind someone's shoulder. Excuse me, is there an event going on? The guy turns and looks at me like I'm speaking something other than Korean. After a brief silence, he responds, "Are you new or something? Have you not heard All Out Attack?" "Yeah, I'm new, I'm just asking." He hums and glances away for a moment. Though he doesn't apologize, as he does fill me in. Golden Zofire hosts a StarCraft 2 tournament called All Out Attack once a month. It's one of the few places you'll find a decent player outside of an online cup or a Star League. Used to be Brood War tournaments, actually. I see. Thanks, man. Who are you here to cheer for? He stares in response. The guy walks away with a shake of his head and mumbling something about foreigners. The back of his shirt sports the Korean Programmer Association logo. Oh, he must be a Brood War fan. None of the StarCraft teams under the KPGA's regulations compete in anything except the original game, Brood War. Understandably, they don't want to fracture a scene they've worked hard to build up. And that's lucky for those of us trying to keep from drowning in the game. That's already deep with talent. KPGA players train for unbelievable hours. Well, I came here to practice, and now I'm presented with an excellent chance to do so, if what that guy said is true. A few stairs follow me as I walk forward to put my name on the sign-up list. I must look like a tourist over my head. I'm definitely not the first foreigner to go abroad for esports, but most come to South Korea only once they have results or fame. After paying for an hour's worth of PC time at the front desk, I settled for a station that has a mouse and keyboard similar to what my setup back home. A few minutes later, I joined the opponent's game lobby just in time for the start of the first round. His name isn't familiar, so I checked his profile to see if he's ranked midway through a Master League. Not bad for a casual player. He seems eager enough by the rate he's spamming go-go in the pre-game chat. The game gets underway once I confirm that I'm ready. Workers, minerals, Vespian gas, and command center. I start out with every match with only these resources at my disposal. It's my job to turn them into something that can defeat my opponent. Generally that means I need to build structures dependable of training units for my army. My build order determines how my end of the matchup plays out. The game I've opted for a quick Helion attack. Not only will it offer me a chance to deal some damage to my opponent, but it also allows me to scout. But it seems I don't have much to worry about. My opponent went for a greedy build order, focusing entirely on his economy instead of his army. Unfortunately for him, the match isn't going to last long enough for that rest to pay off. My Hellions make short work of his single queen and handful of Zerglings. With his front line out of the way, I'm free to rush into his middle line and roast his workers, denying him the resources he needs to muster an army. Missing that a marine reinforcement, it's not long before my Zerg opponent types the letters GG. Easy. As soon as the victory screen displays, anxiety floods out of my body. Starcraft is tense. It isn't an exaggeration to say that there's never a moment to relax until a match is over. Bristling with confidence, I get up to check my next opponent. And it's Axel. I drew my lips in a line and let my shoulders slouch. Welp, that's the end of my tournament run. Axel is one of South Korea's strongest Terran players. He's well known for his old school cred, balanced playstyle, and friendly banter. He lost in the round of 8 of the last season's VSL, a respectable finish, if not a high-paying one. From what I remember, Axel was a damn good Brood War player. But he was out of his prime when the sequel hit last year, so it makes sense that he switched. While I'm considering what sort of rush I should do to steal F win, I feel a tap on my shoulder and turn. Huh, so you're a foreigner. And find no other than the man himself standing there. This is a bit surreal, considering how I followed Axel's play for about as long as I remember into StarCraft. Luckily, his nonchalant manner disarms my surprise. Yeah, I think we play the next round. I'm Mac, a Terran. He misses the beat before resigning his smile, likely surprised that I understood, and then answered him. Yeah, I saw you win your game. Not bad. It's not common to see foreigners at all-out attack. Are you on a team? I'm not. I'm trying to find one though. I'm sure you know how that goes. I grin stupidly with Axel doesn't seem to mind. He pauses to scratch his cheek before responding. Well, good luck. Don't expect an easy match. You too, thanks? God damn it. At least he laughed. My stress from before is mostly gone. If I lose, big deal. If I'm expected to lose. If I win, I beat Axel. I'm still chewing over what cheese I should perform before finally deciding just to play standard. I didn't want to squander the rare chance to practice against a top player. He and I banter back and forth in the pre-game lobby for a bit, before the game gets underway. I haven't gone up against a player as strong as Axel in a while. There probably wasn't a single person at the VSL qualifier at his level. That only makes a potential victory all that tantalizing. It's a chance to prove myself that I've got what it takes. I even decide on playing standard. I've still got a decision to make and how to execute my mid-game strategy. This map is well suited for a Hellion attack. I have plenty of room to poke around in his expansion since it lacks a choke point. An attack by air might also be a strong option. The distance between our bases is relatively long by land, but it'll take a Banshee less than 5 seconds to travel from mine to his. I'm confident with both styles. It's just a matter of how I want to execute the attack. I'm gonna go ahead and choose Air Assault with Banshees. By the way, guys, if you guys are new to StarCraft, cheese means like a one base all in, which is like a quick one run through his base, like a rollover. If you play a high end player, it's not really a good idea to do that, especially when they're expected of your game level at this point to play a hard end match with standard. So think about it that way. So I'm gonna go with Air Assault with Banshees. I cut all the exchanges unit productions to get out of Banshee as soon as possible. The earlier I'm able to hit, the less chance Axel will have the right to defense. When my Banshee is en route, I clear out the path to his base with a handful of Marines. Denying information to my opponent is important, even if I don't plan to attack from the blind spot. It seems to be the right choice, as his Marines are out of position when my Banshees arrives at his base. I managed to secure a few worker kills before ordering a retreat. Since I didn't lose my Banshees, Axel has to spend minerals on air defense, knowing that I had prepared a transition to a full-on ground army. This game is going insanely well. Though Axel took his expansion before I did, the damage he took puts us on even footing. I follow up with an army of Marines, Marauders, and dropships, the bread and butter of most Terran players. Since I cleared the space between our base, he's in the dark about timing of his next attack. There's a solid chance that I could do enough damage here to end the game. But just as I arrived at the outskirts of Axel's expansion, one of his dropships uploads a handful of Marines to my base. That's going to slow down my ability to reinforce. Whoa, shit! With my focus on the drop in my main, Axel rushed into the army. I left outside of his base while I wasn't paying attention. He got a conclave formation on me. And just like that, my advantage evaporates. Though I managed to stay in the game for a bit longer, Axel wisely guards his lead by immediately taking a third base. Soon enough, his economic advantage is reflected with the size of his army. After my blunder, Axel's play was airtight. There wasn't really anything for me to do. With a groan, I offered a GG and see the match. I didn't exactly throw my lead, but I did get some serious outplayed. Fantasizing about how a victory would have felt doesn't help me keep my mind off the loss. Knowing that I did my best only helps so much. But not a moment later, Axel turns the corner with a smile and a raised eyebrow. Good game, man. You're actually not bad. I assumed you were here for some fun or something. Thanks. I am here for fun though. You played really well. I'm surprised most foreigners don't hit timings like that. Good vision control too. If your scouting was too much, it was top notch. You're not on a team? Are you at least staying at a team house? Oh, are you studying abroad? Excuse me, guys. I apologize. Nothing like that. I'm just by myself in an apartment by VSL Studios. So you came to Korea alone on your own dime, and you're not just visiting. Yes? I do my best not to seem awkward about my answer, but any reason to worry disappears when Axel smiles. It takes some serious guts to move out here like that. I can't think of a single person who's made it out here on their own. A few nearby competitors watch our conversation. It's probably not often that Axel gives attention to a random nobody he crushes early in a bracket. I got some time before my next match. Let me introduce you to my friend. Oh, sure. With a nod, Axel leads me from the PC area to the back of the cafe. We pass a number of known players on the way there, most lounging around no differently than the cafe's other patrons. Maybe they aren't that different. I guess even professionals like to kick back with the tangled cords and rush of caffeine every now and then. Games shouldn't be all business all the time, although I bet the KPGA executives disagree. Axel comes to a stop away from the constant tapping of keyboards. He then plops himself into a seat against the wall and invites me to join him with a wave of his hand. As I take a seat, I look up to find someone I recognize at his side. Jet! A Zerg and formal VSL champion. She won 2 very first grand finals back in beta a year ago. She might have been the game's most famous player. Her flippant and inflammatory antics have made her a somewhat controversial figure. She rarely GGs and isn't afraid to talk trash on the stage. And there she is, just sitting there. It's all I can do to not stare. A smile plays on her lips when she glances past me to Axel. Hey Axel, seriously, stop promising my autograph as a reward for beating you. Hilarious. He can stand you, by the way. Who are you up against next round? Some Zerg dishwasher on LHT / I hate Zerg versus Zerg. Jet rolls her eyes back to me. After a brief appraisal, she lifts her chin and speaks a single word. Name? What? I'm Mac, a Terran. I'm on, well, I'm teamless. Jet shifts her gaze back to Axel as if to ask, why did you bring this noob back here? Before she can actually say anything, Axel comes to my defense with an easy smile. Hey, cool it with the judgment. You've seen him play. Plus, you ever heard of a foreigner that came out here alone just for Starcraft? My man right here did. You have to admit, that's brave. If that's an endorsement wasn't convincing enough, he offers one of his classic grins for good measure. The response seems satisfies her for now. While I try to keep from showing anything to contradict Axel's assessment, Jet aims her attention back to me. Didn't see your name on the list of people who made it past the VSL qualifier. How'd you place? I lost my second to last match. The qualifier before that, I dropped out on the final game of the last series. 2 attempts without making it, huh? Hard to tell from that. Mainly depends on the bracket you had. How do you live out here? With no team? Do you stream or something? I used to stream, but I don't get enough viewers to make any money. My following is pretty small. Small is understatement, non-existent is closer to the truth. So your parents pay for everything? No, I'm here on my summer job earnings and a little bit extra from my grandparents. How lucky. I never got any handouts. This isn't going very well. Still, Axel looks as collected as ever, watching the smile as the interrogation continues. Did you ever play Brood War? Not really. I had a copy as a kid, but I wasn't good. Had to cheat to even finish the campaign. Then you were only a bit worse than me, Jet. Jet scowls silently at the jab. It's true that the 2 years she spent playing Brood War were mostly unremarkable. Then this is your first try at professional gaming. When I nod, she gives me a hard look. Where are you? Why are you out here? What do you mean? I'm sure you're aware of your chances. It's been more than 5 years since a foreigner programmer accomplished anything noteworthy in Korea. I know what she's getting at, but it's not like I have a particular great or unique answer. I scratch behind my head and look away. I mean, why else? Why else? I want to become better at Starcraft. Everyone knows that Korea is the place to do that. And why is that? Well, because... No, I'm asking you why you want to become a better player. It feels like she's forcefully extracting the truth from me, and all the same, I can't leave her expression unanswered. I do my best to avoid showing the embarrassment I feel in my honest response. Because I want to be a champion, or at least show I can compete at the level. Everyone who plays this game wants that, don't they? You're right about one thing. Every idiot that makes it to the Grandmasters and takes a map off a good player thinks they're good programmer material. Champion, huh? Shh. She clicks at her tongue and sighs, but doesn't seem displeased, well, at least any more so than usual. I wouldn't have much ground to stand on if I disagreed with her. Jet is one of the few who accomplish what the rest of us dream about. Don't be so harsh. His style's solid and he stood toe-to-toe with me for a while. With enough time, he could compete. What do you think? Why don't you practice with him for a bit? I could. Little harm in giving him a chance. Wait, back up. What just happened? Did he say practice? And did she say yes? Axel answers her with a pleased expression. Jet takes a moment to stretch out before going before again crossing her arms across her chest. Stop staring and say something, Mac. The sound of my name wakes me from a stunned silence. I jolt upright and offer a fury of nods. Sorry, yes. I say yes. I definitely say yes. Jet and Axel watch me in a silence until I lower myself back into my seat. It takes some determination to come all out here alone. Let's see if it translates to wins, eh? With a thumbs up, it's settled. I have found someone myself with one of the best practice partners in the world. I really hope that there isn't just for the novelty of playing with some random foreigner. Axel, it's about time to get back to the all-out attack. Wouldn't you want getting DQ'd if we'll be matching in the semis? Can you be certain that I didn't lose to Mac already? What if this is my way of saving face? Funny. Have you lost to a foreigner even once? Hey, you never know who's playing on a barcode account. You sure you don't want to pop split final offer? Collude with you? Not a chance. What about you, Mac? Gonna stick around? A PC bang with the Brussels tournament isn't a great training environment. The bracket will probably take a few hours to work through too. Nah, I'm gonna head home. Got a lot of practice to do tonight. Leaving already? Well, hey, it was good to meet you, man. Be at the Golden Zone Fire tomorrow morning, and we'll find out if you're all overhyped. Will do. The last thing I see is the vague smile from Jet as she leans over and whispers to Axel. I squeeze my way through the growing crowd and manage to make it through the doorway leading outside. When I hit the streets, I met with a cool breeze and a rush of voices, sound, and light. This is it, a shot, one final shot to make it happen. One last chance to live the life I want. I quicken my pace, eager for the comfort of the dark room and bright monitor. This is the day that everything changes. Alright guys, so I'm going to end the first episode here of StarCraft 2 visual novel. If you did like my read over, say some comments below. I know I fucked up a couple of times and I do apologize for that. I'm not really good at trying to keep up, and I don't have my glasses with me. I'm not trying to make excuses, it's just the truth. So I'm going to put this up and take a look at it. If you haven't tried the game out, it is on Steam. I also will put the link for their Kickstarter on the stats below. Thank you for listening, and I will see you guys next time. Part 2, when we go ahead and I guess talk to Jet, right? See what happens. Thanks for watching, guys.